like an oasis in the desert.
Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Friday, September 6th, and we are having a sleepy Friday to say the least. We're on the Asian account. Need to win one Priest or Morlock or play a bunch that cost 20 or less. So let's re-roll this. 6 pirates. I think we could probably do that. I think we can probably get both of those done. If we play Tempo Rogue first on this, we'll see if we run into any pirates. If we don't, then, or after we play the pirates, we can then just play Murlocs. I want to get through this pretty quickly because, yeah, things are not moving fast, and I think we may just have some more games left over, or I may just do a complete clear out over the weekend. I think I'd do a complete clear out over the weekend. There's no reason to have any leftover games for Monday. Although Monday might be slow, I don't believe it really would be. Yeah. I think we're rolling into the busy time with Tokyo Game Show and PAX West ending Tokyo Game Show coming in the next couple weeks, and just rolling into the holiday seasons. The winter holidays. Gematsu has an article here for the PS4 and Switch. AI, the Summoner Files physical edition has been delayed to September 24th in North America. If that interests anybody. I'm not really sure. AI Summoner Files is something I want to play. See, apparently it's already, well, it's coming to Steam. Is this a different game than what I thought it was? Yeah, I guess this is a different game. This is that murder mystery visual novel game. Yeah. I was thinking of something else. Completely. So that might be a big time visual novel, it might not. The physical edition being delayed is a little bit different than a standard Japanese delay, because usually a standard Japanese delay isn't specific to a single physical edition or a single platform. It usually is just they promised way too much and couldn't deliver on time, and they never really had any intention of delivering on time. Next we have a game on Steam called Demolition, which, let's see if this is a real game or if this is an asset flip game. Yeah, I don't know for sure if I'm gonna actually get to the Wolfenstein Youngblood game this weekend, but I should, in theory, get it done. Yeah, Demolition here seems too simplistic a game. $6.99, that's too expensive. English, full audio, 3 achievements. I should get to Wolfenstein Youngblood. I probably won't kill myself specifically trying to play the entirety of that game, though. So even if I do start live streaming it and start playing it, it'll probably be in groups of 4 to 6 hours of streams per day versus Control, where I was streaming potentially 2, maybe even 3 streams in a 24-hour point that were 4 hours long.
Reporting for duty.
Like, I'm a little bit amazed that I was even able to successfully get through Control as fast as I did, because that's certainly not a muscle I have been training or trying to do as far as rushing through games and playing like
Here we go.
so many other video game journalists do, which is the non-realistic way to play a video game.
I fight.
So, in a weird way, I kind of am glad, and I would probably have to put my foot down at some point if I was making just a lot of income, or any income really, on the YouTube channel, and I could afford to buy games brand new. I still think I would probably play them much more reasonable than I did Control. I don't think I'm gonna marathon brand new games just for a few more views. I would like to be able to live a closer to realistic lifestyle as far as how long the game would last, in the sense of, not particularly in the sense of number of hours, but in the sense of the number of the number of days that you'd be interested in thinking about talking about a game. Yep. Moving on, we have a game on Steam here called Blade Warrior that looks like it's not much. It looks like an old 80s game. I guess it might be because it's from ImageWorks developer. It says Softworks in the game screen, and it's from Mirrorsoft or Microsoft. Yeah, Mirrorsoft. I would think it would. I would know if it was from Microsoft. This looks like an old game that I don't recognize.
I wonder.
It's $3.24 discounted. It's English only. I guess I'll put it on the fall list and we'll see. But it probably is nothing. Probably is a super simplistic, boring game. Alright, let's do this and then... I didn't play any pirates, unfortunately. I played one pirate. Alright, well, guess we'll just stick with a winning strategy. Moving on, Gamer Sutra has an article here. Nintendo Direct shows off surprise sequels, new ports, and an aggressive year-end pitch. So yeah, the Nintendo year-end pitch, Nintendo Direct, which happened like a couple days ago, which was basically a week before Tokyo Game Show. And then Tokyo Game Show is going to have what seems like an aggressive pitch from Sony. It seems like Nintendo and Sony are setting up themselves for a big fight next year, as far as at least the Japanese market, if not the market between the two of them worldwide. Meanwhile, Microsoft could just slide in with the new Xbox, whatever Project Scarlet is, and that new Xbox may steal the show. Or Stadia could even steal the show. It's unlikely, but it's possible. Let's see. Next, we have a Gamma Sutra article. Sony's upcoming Xperia phone supports the PS4's DualShock controller. That's nice. Now, the bigger question would be, why doesn't all phones support the DualShock controller? And I think the answer to that is probably because the DualShock does not use standard Bluetooth, just direct input standards. So yeah, kind of would like to see the PlayStation controllers and the Microsoft controllers and all the controllers, frankly, work on cell phones by default. In a weird way, that is the next generation thing that everything should have. But beyond your basic improvements in just resolution, and if they ever are going to improve sound quality and just connectivity and such, like having your controllers for your home console also work for a cell phone would double your sales of controllers easily.
I take it.
I fight.
Do I want to do this?
Here we
I don't
go.
think so. Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam called Dark Data, which looks like a player versus player, low effort, asset flip first person shooter. Let's see, $9.99, English full audio and a bunch of other language supports. This looks like a low polygon style graphics for the 3D models. Yeah, nothing there interesting.
How much is this worth to you? I'll take that. I fight.
Let's see.
Here
that,
we
I guess. This is a disappointing bit of news. TechRaptor has an article. Shenmue 3 refunds can take up to 3 months to process, which means, frankly, if you bought Shenmue 3 and you want a refund, and you bought it yesterday and it takes 3 months, that would mean it's out of like the standard, I think, 90-day grace period for like chargebacks. So you would be better off doing a chargeback than waiting 3 months to hear if you get your refund processed, and then to find out that very possibly they don't process it, and then you're left holding the bag. Of course, also if you do a chargeback, you might find your entire Epic Store account locked and deleted, which I haven't heard any stories of that, but that is exactly what some Microsoft stories I've heard have gone, and definitely some PlayStation people have done that too. So it might be safer just to keep Shenmue and get the Epic Store key, even if you don't want to use the Epic Store. But there's not a really good excuse to say why it would take up to 3 months to process a refund. The way it's phrased, it's up to 20 business days to 3 months from the time of the refund request is made until the refund transaction is completed. That's extremely long amount of time, even in the minimum of 20 business days. Really should take less than 3 days to start the process of a refund if you request it. It should be a pretty simplistic, if not automated, process. Next we have a game on Steam called Ortharian Project, which looks like it's a top-down hack and slash dungeon crawler. No, I'm disconnected from Blizzard. Who knows why? Back to the Asian account. The Ortharian project here is early access. It's discounted to $9.59. It's English and French with French full audio. I'll give it a follow, but almost certainly it's not going to make it to the wish list. I've been probably way too generous as far as what's on the follow list, and it's going to end up causing me to have a ridiculously long wish list that needs to be cleaned up again. Next we have a game on Steam called Starpoint Gemini 3. It's already mixed. It's supposed to be a sandbox 3D early access story rich space game.
Your back.
It actually looks really nice. I wonder why it's getting mixed reviews. $17.99 discounted, English and a bunch of other languages supported. I'm gonna put this on the follow list. I don't even like space games, but it's weird that it's mixed already. Pirates. We're looking for pirates. Next we have a game on Steam called Banana Invaders. Almost certainly this is not a game worth playing. Looks like a VR game where you're standing in one place and you're just shooting things and you can teleport yourself to other platforms. $4.99 for VR is too cheap. English only. And yeah, I see nothing here of interest. Let's see. Next we have Celtic Kings Rage of War, which looks like a Age of Empires clone style game, real-time strategy. $4.99, single player, English full audio.
So many options.
Let's see what this developer's made otherwise. It made mostly positive games. Well, yeah, and maybe some not so positive DLCs. Yeah, I'm trying to, in an effort to save time, I'm instead just putting a lot of things on the follow list.
Here we go.
Which this is really just setting myself up for failure later on. But, and I have definitely crossed the point from being laid back on a Friday to being sleepy. And that's really where this is. I just need to get this dumb news through and then we'll wrap up. I don't feel a need to even do all of the daily quests. We can get the rest done off screen or even tomorrow. Tech Raptor, or I can do it off screen tomorrow. Tech Raptor has an article, Binding of Isaac prequel, The Legend of Bumbo, comes to Steam this November. So doing a prequel this time. So that's coming out in a few short weeks, and the release date for the Switch and the iOS version has not been out yet. Being a prequel to The Binding of Isaac, though, the question I guess becomes, does it play the same way? I don't think it does. I think The Legend of Bumbo in particular is a totally different style of game. It's more of a match 3 game that works as a dungeon crawler, kind of like How to Build a Boat works, if that would be my guess.
How much is this worth to you?
TechRaptor has an article here. Steam Library Beta arrives this September. New event tools and Steam Lab content revealed. Let's see what the event tools are. Steam Library Beta is the new library update. I think the whole client needs to be updated though, and the whole storefront needs to be updated. I think they need to abandon the blue slowly but surely. Developers will now be able to make use of Steam event authoring tools, as the Steam Library Beta is going to have more heavily integrated events. Developers are going to have to do a little extra work to fit the new format. Let's see. Much of the process is going to largely be the same in concept with several enhancements. Events can now be categorized, such as game updates, announcements, live streams, community challenges, and any other kind of activity that happening in your game. The events will require an image to go along with them. The image has to be a certain size. So, yeah. For something like Destiny, for example, if there is a raid or a special event happening, you can put that, you can announce that to players via their library. I'm not going to announce when there's a new game on the Epic Store for free, because that's basically what they've been doing since launch. But I think I probably will start claiming them, because, you know, I installed the thing. I might as well use the Epic Store to get a backup just in case Steam ever did disappear.
Here we go.
There we go. Let's see. Gamma Sutra has an article here. Niantic settles the Pokemon Go public nuisance class action lawsuit. We already talked about this, so we don't need to go any further on that. Let's see. On September 5th, Wolfenstein tweeted out the updates that they've put in the latest patch of Wolfenstein Youngbloods. Balance changes, checkpoints, health bar toggles, and more. Version 1.0.5 is now available for PC, PS4, Xbox One, and coming soon to Switch. So, if I started playing Youngbloods this weekend, I will definitely have a better experience than I think most people who bought it day one.
Double time and double pay.
Here we go.
Job's done.
So here's the game that TechRaptor had an article they were advertising. Fantasy General 2. A real-time turn-based strategy. I guess turn-based strategy, not real-time strategy. Game. It doesn't look particularly interesting, but I'll put it on the follow list. It's $39.99 with no discount and supports several languages. So I kind of want to see what Fantasy General 1 sold as, or how it sold, but I don't see a Fantasy General game by this developer. The publisher has published several games and most look positively reviewed though. So that does, I think that's good enough to get it on the follow list. You know what's happening right now is I'm actually getting rather hungry, which is weird too. So I might just end up having to stop streaming just out of pure starvation. Next we have a game called Fit for a King. It looks like an NES game. Even if this was a really good game, it just looks terrible and old. 10% off for $8.99. That's a little too expensive for a retro style art style. English only. So yeah, I think I can skip that and not put it on the follow list. Next we have a game on Steam called Space Cows. That's a funny looking name, but how does this game really play? Because it looks like it's a platformer that maybe you have some kind of gun that shoots cows or something. But you're playing as a cow, flying around, I think. There might be a game here. Put it on the follow list. $11.99, $11.69 discounted. English full audio and several other language supports. 36 achievements. Might really be something to this.
Yeah, beat it. You're not ready for this.
Turn.
My calculations are
Next we have a game on Steam called Danger Space. Looks like a space game. Not interested in space games, even though I did just put a space game on the follow list. This is early access at $21.24 discounted. Good, it prices itself out of consideration. It's Russian full audio with English and German support, which is suspicious to say the least. Can we take this guy out? 3, 2.
Here we go.
Your turn.
Job's done.
See, TechRaptor has an article. Disintegration was our biggest surprise at PAX West. Okay, so they're talking about this game, Disintegration. I'm gonna try and burn through things really quickly, actually, because I just want to kind of wrap up here. I'm just gonna kind of call it. So this will be the last game on the Asian account. Hopefully that gets most of the what needs to be done on the daily quest, and then we'll just quickly look and see if there's any kind of news that really needs to be talked about before. But yeah, three minions that cost 2 or less. I could play one Murloc game easily off screen to get that done. Let's go and at least look at the Americas account. We spent so much time playing the other things.
After a long day at work,
Playing a
it's
single
nice
player
to
experience
be
on
among
the
friends.
European account. TechRaptor has here Fit for a King review, Long Live the King. This is the game we just said looked awful. Scroll down, see what they said about it. They give it an 8.0 grade. Although Fit for a King is a brief adventure, you'll find no shortage of lives exploring for treasure chests or collecting taxes. It's never been so fun. Fit for a King has a degree of freedom that many games don't allow, limited only by its small game world. Pro, funny dialogue, witty text puzzles, fun sandbox gameplay. Cons, very short, smaller game world. Some commands seem useless. Is it a text-based game? seems like it is actually. Yeah, seems like you have just a yeah, it's a text-based game. Wow. Yeah, I have no interest in playing that. Alright, on this account we have play a bunch of priest cards and went with Paladin and Warrior. We rolled that. We have play a bunch of priest cards and win a game with a Druid and Hunter. So we could try Mech Hunter here and see if we can get a victory. But then we're gonna wrap up after this last game. Gamatsu has an article, Tekken 7 version 3.0 update, DLC key characters. Zafina launched September 10th. I guess this is Zafina.
None can escape my fury.
Interesting.
Let the hunt begin.
Still not sure where any of the fighting games rank. I think Tekken maybe is higher than I would think as far as games to play, as far as fighting games. Gamatsu has an article for the PC, PS4, and Switch. Raging Loop is coming to PC December 5th. And they have a gameplay trailer. It's a psychological horror visual novel. So there's quite a lot of characters here, and seems like they're in some kind of ritual or looping through time over and over again. Looks interesting. Not sure it will be. Gamatsu has DayZ, PS4, and Xbox One physical editions launch October 15th. It's surprising DayZ is going to get a physical edition at all, but okay. Alright, now that means I can skip to all the Steam listings. I'm going to try and just cover the news here. And I probably am just going to have to do some major curation of games this weekend. I've barely been making any decisions so today anyways. Almost everything is making it to the fall list. My standards have slipped horribly because I'm half asleep. TechCraft has an article, Nintendo Switch Online is getting 20 SNES games starting today. That was September 5th. So it doesn't seem like they're really even gonna take too long to release the games for the Super NES. Super Mario World, Super Mario Kart, The Legend of Zelda. You could have just released those 3 games alone for the first month and then moved on to other games for the rest of the month. The fact that 20 of Nintendo's own IPs, I assume they're all Nintendo IPs, are getting released at the same time makes me think that they're actually going to try to release more variety and more rarer titles, or do something completely different to justify the value of Nintendo Online. They also getting Super Metroid Stunt Race FX available for the first time since its original Super NES release. Kirby Dream Land 3, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, Star Fox, F-Zero, Pilot Wings. A lot of these games I imagine more on the Super NES Classic 2, Kirby's Dream Course, Brawl Brothers, Demon Breath, Joe and Mac 2, but not Joe and Mac 1. Maybe that was a NES game. Super Ghouls and Ghosts, not Ghouls and Goblins. Super Puyo Puyo available for the first time in the US. Super Soccer available for the first time since its release, and Super Tennis available for the first time it was released. That's a pretty good lineup, just to say out now. I don't know how impactful that could be though, or would be. Moving on, TechRaptor has an article. N1RV ANN-A is exactly what Valhalla fans are looking for. So, is this a game that's actually on Steam? N1RV? Not yet. It's set to release sometime next year on the Switch, PC, and PS4. So, no reason to really talk about it right now. I'm not even sure I'm a Valhalla fan. Frankly, I probably am. I'm not. Gamma Sutra has an article. VR Chat raises $10 million to expand its virtual reality platform. VR Chat made slightly popular, I think, by PewDiePie streaming it a couple times and other streamers streaming it. I could see VR Chat actually, though, if it maintains funding and maintains popularity, I could see it being maybe the new Second Life. I don't think it's going to be much more than Second Life, though.
What is my purpose?
Let's see. TechRaptor has an article here. Kerbal Space Program 2 adds in colonies, interstellar travel, and more. I don't know what the interstellar travel... really, if you're doing that, then you're doing something ridiculous. If you're doing colonies, you're doing something that seems closer to reality in the next few decades. We'll see how good Kerbal Space Program 2 actually is. TechRaptor has an article here, the rising reception of Life is Strange 2. I find it really unbelievable that Life is Strange 2 is getting more reception as it's slowly coming out episodically. Let's see, Life is Strange 2 Episode 5 is set to launch December 3rd, and it will complete the current season. So we'll see how well it's actually received at that point.
I comply.
TechRaptor has another article. Sorry, I'm taking huge pauses between each of these. Only on PlayStation launches in the UK gives 10 PS4 games lovely new covers. So these are new covers or re-releases of PlayStation exclusives, including Bloodborne, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Marvel Spider-Man, Ratchet & Clank, Shadow of the Colossus, Last Guardian, Last of Us, Uncharted 4, and Wipeout Immediate Collection. Which I do believe those are all only on PlayStation, not on PC, not on anything else. Let's see. TechRaptor has an article. Indivisible divides by genre to multiply the fun. Let's see when this game is actually coming out. What kind of game it is. It looks like it's a... I don't know a fighting game. It's not a fighting game. Interesting. It's an RPG. Is that what it is? Oh, Indivisible is that group. That game I've... Yeah, it's the girl with the axe, but they've got some new footage, hey. They've been working on this for at least a year, though. I'd like the game to actually come out. Indivisible is released on October 8th for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC on Steam. So apparently Indivisible is good. That's good to hear, considering how there's been some small amount of hype for it for quite a while now.
What is my purpose?
Gamma Sutra has an article. The beauty industry is getting an AR makeover. Learn how at XRDC. This is an advertisement for one of Informer's presentations, almost certainly. XRDC happening in San Francisco next month. Yeah, Gamma Sutra, XRDC, and G2C are sibling organizations under the parent company of Informer. Disclosure. So this is the advertisement. Let's see, I'm clicking through the news here just to see if there's anything worth mentioning. We can talk about this. Here we have a Gematsu article. Famitsu and Dengekai, I think is how it's pronounced. Dengekai announced their Tokyo Game Show 2019 live stream schedules. So they've got a collection here of presentations that will happen over the course of probably 3 days. Nope, 4 days. Maybe 5, maybe 6, maybe 7, maybe 8. Wow. So lots of presentations, to say the least. Then I do just have a bunch of, well, that was a bunch of cough drops just knocked over. Bunch of games that I'm gonna go through just on my own time to catch us up. I figured we were gonna run into that, and I'll leave anything that really needs to be mentioned, but there's a good 50 or 60 games, and I'm just tired and running into being hungry for no reason, probably because I've been streaming so long, and it doesn't seem like my timer has even run out yet, so I don't know how long I've been streaming. Close enough. At least a 30-minute episode here at the end after a 2-hour episode. That'll be weird. I'm on the Humble Bundle store. There's an RPG bundle. We already talked about that, I believe. Well, the RPG bundle includes Hiveswipe Act 1, Deep Space Derelicts, Immortal Planet. I think Deep Space Derelicts is good. If you pay more than $4.35, you get Tyranny, Pillars of Eternity, and Cat's Quest. I think that's a very good price for Cat's Quest. And if you pay $15 more, you get the Steam code for Borderlands Game of the Year edition, which I suspect many people already have that. So this Humble Bundle in particular, not something that I think will go up in price too much. Then we have Spooky Horror 2019. Pay $1, get Agony, Butcher, The Town of Light. I think we already talked about this. Darkwood, Beholder 2, if you pay more than the average of $4.37 in Pacify, and $10 will get you inside also. So yeah, I doubt that there's a third game bundle. There's a Red Sonja comics bundle, but digital comics. How many Red Sonja books are there? I think the thing about a lot of these comics though are with all the reprints and everything, there's really no good way to know if you're getting a complete collection or if you're just getting the most recent ones. Or I'm seeing quite a lot of volumes and issues, but it's really only up to like issue 5 in most cases, so that probably is going to leave you hanging as far as purchasing the rest of the digital things yourself. Meanwhile, I'm back on Twitter. Let's see if there's any see if there's anything as far as new news that needs to be talked about. More games came out, of course. I'll just curate all of that. Really has been kind of a failure of a stream today. Not only is it a probably no viewers on a Friday scenario, which seems to be the way it always goes, unfortunately, but it's been a real sleepy experience, and I really could have done better to grind it out more. The good news, if I can find any good news, is that I probably will go to sleep early today, and maybe that'll start forcing me into a regular sleep schedule until the next couple weeks happen, and then almost certainly something else will happen and it will mess up my sleep schedule. And that's how insomnia works, is that at best you get 1 or 2 weeks of going to sleep at the right time, and then it messes up again. Well, that's going to be it for this stream. I'll have to do a little bit of gameplay off screen, do several priest games in particular. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to further follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below, and if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.